So it's good to be with you. And you know, one reason I asked to be here is because I wrote the border fence law of 1986, or 2006. It was signed, I believe, October 26th of 2006 by the President. And originally I wrote it to mandate almost 854 miles of double border fence across the smuggling corridors of the Southwest. And the reason I did that was simple. First, the fence was necessary, and I found that in my home district in San Diego. And I've got a couple of pictures up there in front that show the San Diego, the smugglers corridor between San Diego and Tijuana that existed before we built that fence, and then the picture after we built the fence. That's a double fence with a high-speed road running between it. And when we built that fence, we did it because the border was absolutely out of control. We had 300 drug trucks a month roaring across the border, loaded with cocaine and marijuana for America's kids. We had massive smuggling of illegal aliens. We had massive crime. In fact, we had criminal gangs that roamed the border and went back and forth, robbing and raping and murdering, an average of 10 to 11 murders a year in that deadly border area, where nobody would go down from either side of the border as the night went down because of the gangs. And it was so bad that we finally had to put a plainclothes police unit in who dressed like illegal aliens and waited for the border gangs to attack them so that they could protect the people who were coming across from being murdered or hurt. When we built the double fence, we stopped all the drive-through drug smuggling cold. We stopped those 300 drug trucks a month. We put the border gangs out of business, and many of them were armed with automatic weapons because they lost their ability to move back and forth, and that's how they found their security. If they were pursued from the north by law enforcement, they would step south across the border. If they were pursued from the south by the Mexican law enforcement groups, they would step north across the border. When we put up the double border fence, we took away their mobility, and that put them out of business. The drive-through drug smuggling went down to zero. The murders on our sector of the border went down to zero. The smuggling of people and narcotics was reduced from over 202,000 arrests before we put the border fence in to less than 9,000. That's a reduction of more than 90%. And when we built the fence in Yuma over this the last couple of years, we've seen a reduction there from an astounding figure of 138,000 arrests to down to less than 4,000. That's a decrease of more than 95%. So the first point I would make simply, Mr. Chairman, is we needed the fence. And in fact, my great friend Silver Reyes was one guy who came before a committee as a Border Patrol chief and testified in favor of the fence when we were having such a tough time getting it through in the 1990s. Now, the fence is necessary, and I think the statistics show very clearly that the fence works. And it's necessary for a couple of reasons beyond those we saw in San Diego. Since 9/11, we have to be worried about knowing who comes into this country and what they bring with them when they come in. Now, we caught over 58,000 folks coming across from Mexico last year who were not citizens of Mexico. We caught over 800 people from communist China. We caught 14 people from Iran, and we caught 3 people from North Korea. That means anybody in the world who has a television set knows that the way you get into the United States is no longer through the airports. You get to Mexico, if you have a few bucks you can do that, and you come across that border into the United States. We have to know who's coming into this country and what they're bringing with them. Now, the question comes up of the waiver. You know, I wrote the waiver language also that was inserted in the Real ID Act, and I want to tell you, Mr. Chairman, why I did that. The last piece of fence that we tried to build in San Diego was Smuggler's Gulch. That's a 4-mile stretch where cocaine and people continued to be smuggled after we built the rest of the double border fence. And we started to get sued by environmentalists. We had one action by the environmentalists that required a year of study to see if the gnatcatcher would fly over. And the gnatcatcher is a little bird. It lives on both sides of the border. But we had to delay the fence for 1 year to see if the gnatcatcher would fly over the 10-foot high fence. After we determined that, yes, indeed, the little critters could get airborne for 10 feet, we then had a series of stalling actions, actions by the California Coastal Commission, by Fish and Wildlife, by other regulatory agencies, and by groups suing. And it took us 12 years to get that 4 miles of fence started at Smuggler's Gulch. If that rate, it would take us 200 or 300 years to get the southwest border fence built. And that, Mr. Chairman, is the reason why I wrote the waiver language that allows the Homeland Security Director, Mr. Chertoff, to make those waivers. Now, despite the fact that he has waived, he's invoked and triggered the waivers, he has had lots of mitigating actions that have been initiated for Fish and Wildlife. He's had hundreds of town meetings with people along the border, with groups, with office holders. I think he's done the right thing, and finally, I would say this. I think that every family in America who has been touched by the tragedy of illegal drugs has a stake in getting this border fence built, and built very quickly. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
And let me extend the privilege to my colleague.